She had 2 months to live, 2 months to say goodbye, 2 months to cry with her friends, 2 months to accept she would die a virgin with no children, no husband, no future, all because of her father's foolish vow to God. Her name was never recorded, but her story will make you cry. Jephthah was the son of Gilead and a prostitute. His half-brothers drove him away, saying, "You will not inherit anything in our father's house because you are the son of another woman." He fled to the land of Tob, where he gathered a group of stranded fellows who became his followers, essentially becoming a mercenary leader. Years later, when the Ammonites made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead, the same people who had rejected him, traveled on difficult journey through wilderness, came begging Jephthah to lead them in battle. "Didn't you hate me and drive me from my father's house?" Jephthah asked. "Why do you come to me now when you're in trouble?" They pleaded with him and also made some rewards available for him if he could lead them in battle. They made him their commander and leader of all Gilead. Before going to battle, Jephthah made a vow to the Lord. "If you give the Ammonites into my hands, whatever comes out of the door of my house to meet me when I return in triumph will be the Lord's, and I will sacrifice it as a burnt offering." God gave him a crushing victory. He devastated 20 Ammonite towns. Israel was saved. When Jephthah returned home to Mizpah, his daughter, his only child, came out dancing to meet him, playing the tambourine and celebrating his victory. The moment he saw her, he tore his clothes in anguish and cried out, "Oh no, my daughter, you have brought me down and I am devastated. I have made a vow to the Lord that I cannot break." The daughters responded, "My father, you have given your word to the Lord. Do to me just as you promised, now that the Lord has avenged you of your enemies, the Ammonites." She didn't curse him. She didn't run. She didn't plead for her life. Instead, she made one request. "Give me 2 months to roam the hills and weep with my friends, because I will never marry." Her grief wasn't primarily about being sacrificed. It was about being erased without children, without legacy, without her name continuing in Israel. In ancient Israelite culture, this was a tragedy beyond measure. Jephthah granted her request. She and her friends went into the hills for 2 months. Scripture says she wept because of her virginity. She mourned the life she would never live, the children she would never bear, the future that was stolen from her. Imagine those 2 months, walking the hills with her friends, knowing exactly when it would end, watching sunsets she knew she wouldn't see again, saying goodbye to everything, processing her father's foolish vow, wrestling with God's silence. After 2 months, she and her friends left the hill, then returned home to her father, and he did to her as he had vowed. Her future was erased by her father's rash vow. From this comes the Israelite tradition that each year the young women of Israel go out for 4 days to commemorate the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite. The women of Israel, generation after generation, remembered her. They mourned with her. They honored her sacrifice. They refused to let her be forgotten, even though her name was lost. Why this story matters. Jephthah's vow was foolish and unnecessary. God had already promised victory. His impulsive oath cost him everything he loved. The story warns against making vows to manipulate God or prove our devotion through extreme promises. Ecclesiastes 5:4-5 says, "When you make a vow to God, do not delay to fulfill it.